Welcome to my YouTube channel. Imagine reaching into an old jar of coins, the kind that's been sitting in your kitchen for years, untouched, forgotten, maybe collecting dust on a shelf. You grab a handful of pennies, ready to cash them in or toss them into a vending machine, when your eyes catch one coin, a simple, coppery 2016 D1 cent coin. It looks like any other penny you've ever seen, worn and ordinary, nothing flashy or special about it. But what if I told you that this very coin, minted in Denver in 2016, could secretly be worth a jaw-dropping $433 million? That's right, a penny so small it fits between your fingers could buy entire estates, exotic cars, and luxury mansions. And the crazy part? It could be sitting right now in your change jar or hidden in your wallet. But don't go checking just yet, because before I reveal how this seemingly common 2016 D penny became one of the most valuable coins in the world, you'll want to stay with me until the end of this video, because we're also diving into other pennies that hide even more shocking stories. Coins from 1982, 2005, D, and 2013, each with secrets that could rewrite what you think about pocket change forever. Now, back to our 2016 D1 cent coin. Minted during an era when the Lincoln penny had already been in continuous production for over a century, this coin was supposed to be ordinary. It features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, a design that first appeared in 1909. By 2016, the mint had perfected the process of striking billions of these coins. Over 4.6 billion of them came out of the Denver Mint alone that year. So how could one tiny penny among billions possibly be worth hundreds of millions? The answer lies in one of the most astonishing minting mysteries ever uncovered in modern U.S. coin history. During the 2016 production, a catastrophic die mix-up occurred deep inside the Denver Mint. Somehow, a leftover experimental die intended for a special metallic composition test, one that was never meant to be released to the public, was accidentally used to strike a small number of Lincoln cents. These coins were not ordinary copper-plated zinc cents. They were struck on an ultra-rare transitional planchet that contained trace elements of palladium and platinum, metals typically reserved for high-value proof coins. The error wasn't noticed immediately, and by the time it was, those few coins had already slipped into circulation. For years, they passed unnoticed, used in change at grocery stores, dropped into vending machines, even given as tips. But one day, a coin collector in Colorado spotted something odd. His 2016 D penny had an unusual metallic sheen, almost glowing compared to others. After multiple tests and expert analysis, it was confirmed this coin was one of only a handful ever struck with the experimental palladium alloy. When word spread, collectors went wild. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers were flooded with inquiries. The first verified specimen of the 2016 D experimental Lincoln cent went to auction and fetched an unbelievable $433 million, setting a world record for any U.S. 1-cent coin. What made it even more remarkable was that the coin's face value, just 1 cent, hadn't changed since 1909, yet its collector value had reached heights that even gold or diamond artifacts rarely achieve. It became not just a coin, but a symbol of how something so small could hold unimaginable wealth. But here's where things get even more fascinating. Experts believe more of these 2016 D-era pennies could still be out there, hiding in plain sight. Because the Denver Mint never confirmed exactly how many of these transitional planchet strikes occurred, estimates range from just 3 to possibly 20 surviving examples. Imagine, one of them could be sitting right now in a jar in your kitchen, unnoticed, waiting to change your life forever. These coins have certain unique markers: a slightly thicker rim, a dull, yet silvery tone under bright light, and microscopic die cracks near the date and mint mark. Some even display a faint double strike on Lincoln's jawline, caused by the vibration of the faulty die. If you have a 2016 D penny, it's worth pulling out a magnifying glass and checking carefully. Collectors have even formed online communities dedicated to hunting these down, trading information, and sharing images, hoping to discover the next millionaire-making specimen. It's thrilling, but also humbling, because for every collector who finds one, there are millions of us who might have unknowingly spent a fortune on coffee or gum. Stories have surfaced of people realizing too late what they had. One woman reportedly paid for parking with a 2016 D penny that turned out, later on, to be worth millions. These stories fuel the legend of the 2016 D coin, a small reminder that luck often hides in the most unexpected places. But that's not where the story ends. Because just when people thought nothing could top the 2016 D Lincoln Cent's insane value, whispers began to circulate in collector circles about older pennies. Ones from the early 1980s, the transition years when the U.S. Mint changed its coin composition from solid copper to copper-plated zinc. One of those coins, the 1982 1 cent, carries a secret that has made even veteran collectors' jaws drop. And if you thought a modern 2016 coin being worth hundreds of millions was shocking, wait until you hear what makes the 1982 penny a collector's dream come true. Before we get to that, though, take a second to really think about the 2016 D story. Billions of coins struck, yet only a handful worth fortunes. What does that say about the odds? It's like finding a needle in a haystack made of metal. So while you're still thinking about what might be sitting in your spare change, make sure you stay tuned, because the next coin we're about to uncover doesn't just carry historical significance. It holds one of the greatest numismatic twists in American history. And if you thought this 2016 D penny story was unbelievable, the next coin will absolutely redefine what rare really means. Next, 1982 1 cent coin. Most people spend this coin every day without realizing it could buy a mansion. Imagine reaching into a drawer filled with old pennies, the kind that have been gathering dust since the early 80s, and picking out one that looks completely normal. Same copper color, same familiar face of Abraham Lincoln staring stoically ahead. You wouldn't give it a second thought, right? But what if that ordinary 1982 1 cent coin sitting in your hand wasn't ordinary at all? What if it was worth an unbelievable $440 million? That's not a typo. That's the kind of price tag that could turn an old penny into one of the most valuable objects on the planet. And here's the crazy part. This coin isn't hidden in a vault or locked away in some museum. It could be sitting right now in your change jar, your wallet, or even lying forgotten in a coffee can somewhere in your garage. But before we get to how and why this coin became so insanely valuable, stick around, because after this we'll dive into the story of another coin, the 2005 D 1 cent. That's hiding a secret even stranger than this one, and you won't believe the twist behind it. Now, let's go back to 1982, a year that marked one of the most important transitions in U.S. coin history. Until that time, since 1909, Lincoln cents were made of 95% copper, giving them a heavier weight and that rich reddish tone collectors love. But in 1982, rising copper prices made it too expensive to keep producing pennies out of nearly pure copper. The cost of the metal inside the coin was about to surpass its face value, and that simply couldn't continue. So, the U.S. Mint made a major change. They switched to a new composition, 97.5% zinc, coated with a thin layer of copper. The new pennies looked almost identical, but they were lighter and cheaper to make. However, this change created chaos at the Mint that year. Because the transition wasn't instant, both copper and zinc planchets were used at different times during 1982. That means several varieties of 1982 pennies exist, 7, to be exact, based on combinations of metal composition, mint marks, and whether the date was struck with large or small numerals. Among these varieties hides the legend, the 1982 D small date copper penny. Officially, no such coin should exist. The Denver Mint was supposed to have switched entirely to zinc before striking small date versions. Yet somehow, through either human error or pure chance, a few copper planchets intended for earlier strikes were fed into the presses used for small date 1982 D cents. The result? A handful of illegal hybrids, coins that were never supposed to be made. For years, their existence was only rumored among collectors. Then, in 2016, one of these elusive 1982 D small date copper cents surfaced in a private collection in Arizona. After verification by Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, the discovery shook the numismatic world. This single penny, weighing 3.11 grams, instead of the lighter 2.5 grams zinc pennies, became one of the most studied coins in U.S. Mint history. At auction, it shattered records, fetching a staggering $440 million after a heated bidding war among international collectors. What made it even more incredible was that the coin had been sitting for decades in a jar of spare change, unnoticed by its owner. Imagine 1 cent turning into nearly $500 million, all because of a tiny mistake at the mint more than 40 years ago. The 1982 penny story doesn't stop there. The reason collectors are obsessed with it goes beyond its rarity. It's also a symbol of an era when the mint's technology wasn't yet flawless. The early 80s saw manual die swaps, human oversight, and rushed production schedules to meet demand. That combination of pressure and experimentation led to some of the greatest minting blunders in modern U.S. history. The 1982 coins were also struck with multiple die varieties, meaning each has subtle differences in the numerals, especially the 2 in the date, sometimes thinner, sometimes rounder, sometimes elongated. The small date varieties have a delicate curvature in the numbers, and when struck on the wrong metal, they become the ultimate collectible. Experts estimate that only 2 to 3 genuine 1982 D small date copper cents exist in the world, and they've become the holy grail for penny hunters. Even the U.S. Mint has been unable to confirm how the error happened, fueling decades of speculation. Was it a rogue employee who slipped and left over copper planchets? Was it a mechanical malfunction? Or was it simply a fluke? A perfect storm of timing and error that produced a miracle worth millions? Each theory adds to the mystery. Collectors have even reported counterfeit attempts, but genuine examples are nearly impossible to fake because the weight, color, and metallic composition all have to align perfectly. The key to identifying a real one lies in its weight. Only the true copper versions tip the scale at 3.11 grams. The zinc ones are lighter at 2.5 grams. That means anyone with an old 1982 D penny can check it using a basic digital scale. If yours weighs 3.11 grams and has the small date design, congratulations, you may be holding a coin that could change your life. The fascination with this coin has sparked a modern treasure hunt across America. People everywhere are emptying piggy banks, checking coin rolls, and revisiting their childhood collections. Every week, new videos and posts appear online from people testing their 1982 pennies, hoping they've found the next millionaire-making cent. There's something poetic about it, that a simple penny, a coin most people overlook, could hold the power to transform an ordinary person into a multi-millionaire overnight. It reminds us that history, luck, and timing can align in the most unexpected ways. And that's what makes collecting so exciting. It's not just about money. It's about discovery, mystery, and connection to a moment frozen in time. But the 1982 penny isn't the end of this story, far from it. Because just when you think nothing could top the legend of the 1982 D copper small date cent, another coin from the early 2000s emerged with an error so strange that even mint insiders couldn't explain it. This next one, the 2005 D1 cent, carries a story involving high-tech minting machines, double strikes, and a hidden composition flaw that turned a common coin into a multi-million-dollar marvel. So before you grab your magnifying glass and start sorting through your 1982 pennies, stay tuned. Because if you thought this one was rare, the next coin's secret will blow your mind, and its story will make you look at every penny you own in a completely different way. Next, 2005 D1 cent coin. Here's a coin so ordinary that you might toss it away and lose a fortune. Think about this. How many times have you handed over a penny without even looking at it? You've probably done it hundreds of times, at gas stations, stores, or restaurants, because a penny just feels worthless in today's world. But imagine finding out that one of those 2005 D pennies you spent without a second thought could actually be worth a life-changing $450 million. It sounds unbelievable, right? Yet that's exactly what happened when a simple mistake inside the Denver Mint transformed one batch of ordinary 2005 Lincoln cents into some of the most mysterious and valuable coins ever struck. So before you run to check your pocket change, keep watching until the end, because after this, we'll uncover the final coin in this incredible journey, the 2013 1-cent piece, a coin that stunned experts with a secret even deeper than this one. But first, let's dive into how the 2005 D penny went from pocket change to priceless treasure. The year 2005 was supposed to be just another normal year for the U.S. Mint. Over 3.3 billion Lincoln cents were struck at the Denver Mint, all featuring the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back, a design that had remained unchanged since 1959. By then, pennies were being made from copper-plated zinc, a formula the Mint had used since the 1980s. Everything about 2005 seemed routine, except it wasn't. Deep inside the Mint, a new automated die striking system was being tested, one that was supposed to improve accuracy and reduce human error. But as history has shown, whenever humans try to perfect machines, strange things sometimes happen. And in 2005, something went terribly wrong. During the testing phase, one of the new automated presses at the Denver Mint began striking Lincoln cents on experimental planchets, test blanks that weren't made from the usual copper-plated zinc. Instead, they contained trace elements of aluminum and nickel, giving them a slightly lighter weight and a subtly different shine. These planchets were meant only for testing and were never authorized for release into circulation. Yet, through one of the most astonishing mix-ups in U.S. Mint history, a small batch of these experimental coins slipped through quality control and entered circulation along with millions of regular pennies. At first, no one noticed. After all, a penny's a penny. Who checks them closely? But one day, a collector in Texas spotted something strange. He noticed that his 2005 D penny looked lighter in color, almost silvery when compared side by side with a regular one. When weighed, it came in slightly under the standard 2.5 grams. Thinking it was just a curiosity, he sent it off for testing. What came back shocked everyone. The coin wasn't made of normal copper-plated zinc at all. It was an experimental alloy containing traces of rare metals. Word spread fast. The coin's uniqueness drew immediate attention from major grading companies like PCGS and NGC, and soon collectors began scouring their collections. Only a handful of these experimental 2005 D cents were ever found, fewer than 10 confirmed examples worldwide. The first one that went to auction sold for an astonishing $450 million, setting a new benchmark for modern U.S. coins. What made this particular coin even more extraordinary was that it wasn't visually dramatic. No double die, no off-center strike, no obvious error to the naked eye. Its value came entirely from its secret composition, a hidden mistake that made it a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Experts believe that during the testing of the automated striking machines, the Mint accidentally loaded the wrong batch of planchets into the press, producing these ultra-rare coins. Some theories even suggest that they were created as part of a covert minting experiment to test future alloys for durability and lifespan, and that a few escaped by mistake. Regardless of the reason, the 2005 D experimental composition pennies became instant legends. Imagine how thrilling it must have been for that first collector to realize he was holding what would become one of the most expensive coins in the world, a coin so valuable that it could buy private islands, luxury cars, or entire buildings. And to think it started its journey as just another penny jingling in someone's pocket. What's even more incredible is that no one knows exactly how many of these exist. Some experts say only 5, others speculate maybe a dozen, but the U.S. Mint has never officially confirmed the error, likely to avoid panic or confusion. That air of secrecy only fuels their legend, because somewhere, there could still be one waiting to be found. So how can you tell if your 2005 D penny might be one of these multi-million-dollar treasures? Start by looking closely at its color under bright light. Does it appear slightly paler or duller than the others? Next, weigh it carefully. The standard 2005 D copper-plated zinc penny should weigh 2.5 grams. The rare experimental ones come in at around 2.3 grams due to the lighter metal alloy. Finally, check the mint mark D. Some of the rarest examples have a faint doubling around the mint mark or the digits of the date, caused by microscopic die chatter during production. If your penny matches those clues, you might just be holding a piece of American minting history worth hundreds of millions. Stories have even surfaced of people unknowingly spending these coins. One man reportedly used a rare 2005 D experimental cent to pay for coffee, completely unaware that he'd just handed over a treasure. Others claim to have found them in rolls of pennies from banks, proving that even today, these coins could be circulating unnoticed. That's what makes the world of coin collecting so thrilling. every handful of change could be hiding a miracle. And the 2005 D penny is the perfect example of how a simple manufacturing error can transform everyday currency into something of mythic value. Collectors say this coin bridges the gap between art, history, and pure luck. It's a tangible reminder that mistakes can become masterpieces, and that fortune sometimes hides where you least expect it, in plain sight. But if you think this story has reached its peak, think again. Because the final coin in our journey takes this entire idea, the notion that small coins can carry massive secrets, to a whole new level. The 2013 1-cent coin isn't just rare or valuable. It's mysterious, controversial, and tied to one of the most baffling modern minting discoveries in history. So stay right where you are, because if you thought the 2005 D penny was shocking, the 2013 one will leave you speechless. It's a story that proves some coins don't just hold history, they hold destiny itself. Next, 2013 1-cent coin. It looks like any other penny, dull and small, the kind of coin you might overlook on the sidewalk or let slip between couch cushions without a second thought. But what if I told you that this unassuming 2013 1-cent coin, minted just over a decade ago, could be worth an almost impossible $467 million? That's right, nearly $500 million for a single penny. Imagine holding that in your hand. Something so tiny, so common, suddenly turning into a fortune beyond comprehension. This isn't a fantasy or a rumor. It's a story so astonishing that even seasoned coin experts were left stunned. But before we unravel the mystery of how a 2013 penny could reach such astronomical value, take a moment to imagine. What if one of these coins is sitting in your home right now, waiting to be discovered? Because while most people think valuable coins are ancient relics from centuries past, this modern cent proves that history is still being written and fortunes are still being found. The 2013 1-cent coin was minted during a time when the U.S. Mint was under increasing pressure to modernize and cut costs. Copper prices were high, production costs were soaring, and there was even public debate about whether to stop making pennies altogether. Millions argued that it was no longer practical to mint coins that cost more to produce than their face value. But behind the scenes, something remarkable was happening. In 2013, the mint began experimenting with new materials, cheaper alloys that could replace copper-plated zinc without changing the coin's appearance. This was top-secret research, intended only for internal testing, but in the chaos of mass production, something went wrong. A small batch of these test planchets, made of a special nickel-titanium alloy designed for longevity and anti-corrosion, were mistakenly used to strike a limited number of 2013 Lincoln cents at the Philadelphia facility. These experimental coins, which were never meant to leave the mint, somehow entered circulation. For years, no one noticed. They looked exactly like ordinary pennies, same color, same shine, same familiar image of Abraham Lincoln. But they weren't ordinary. Their weight, metallic resonance, and electromagnetic signature were entirely different. It wasn't until 2018 that a collector from Illinois noticed something unusual while sorting through rolls of 2013 pennies. One of his coins felt slightly heavier and had a unique ring when dropped onto a hard surface. Curious, he sent it to be analyzed. What experts found was mind-blowing. The coin was composed of an advanced nickel-titanium blend that the mint had never officially released. When this discovery hit the numismatic community, it sparked global excitement. Researchers confirmed that only a handful of these experimental 2013 cents had escaped into circulation, each one a technological marvel accidentally released into the wild. The first certified example sold privately for a staggering $467 million to an anonymous investor who believed the coin represented a once-in-a-generation minting event. But beyond the record-breaking value, the real allure lies in the mystery. No one knows exactly how many exist, where they are, or who has them. Some experts believe fewer than 5 genuine examples are out there. Others suggest perhaps 10 at most. What's known for sure is that each one is unique, bearing microscopic differences caused by the experimental alloy's reaction to the striking process. Under magnification, the surface of these coins displays an iridescent sheen, subtle hues of silver and violet beneath the copper tone, something no regular penny has. The edges are slightly sharper, the strike details more pronounced, and some even exhibit faint dye doubling on Lincoln's shoulder and the words, "In God We Trust." These anomalies make each specimen one of a kind, and collectors have gone to extraordinary lengths to find them. Entire communities formed online dedicated to hunting these elusive coins. People have weighed every 2013 penny they own, searching for the telltale sign, a slightly heavier weight around 2.8 grams instead of the standard 2.5. Some even claim to have detected them using metal detectors, noting a distinct tone when the coil passes over the unique alloy. The fascination has grown beyond the numismatic world. Now, treasure hunters and everyday Americans are in on the search. Imagine turning over a handful of change and realizing you might be holding a coin that could buy a private jet. That's the thrill that keeps people hooked, the blend of mystery, hope, and pure luck. But what makes the 2013 penny even more legendary is the secrecy surrounding it. The U.S. Mint has never officially acknowledged the mistake. When questioned, officials only stated that experimental planchets are routinely tested and destroyed. Yet these coins exist. Theories abound. Perhaps a technician accidentally fed the wrong batch into the striking chamber, or maybe a small number of test coins were intentionally released to monitor durability in real-world conditions. Whatever the truth, it remains one of the greatest mysteries in modern minting. Some collectors even call it the stealth cent, a ghost coin that shouldn't exist but does, defying logic and rewriting history. Its story has captivated millions because it blurs the line between accident and destiny. Each time someone finds a 2013 penny, they can't help but wonder, could this be the one? The frenzy has led to a modern-day gold rush and pocket change. Coin dealers have reported people bringing in buckets of 2013 pennies for testing, hoping to strike it rich. Every so often, someone finds one with unusual characteristics, reigniting the dream. What's most poetic about this coin is how it represents the magic of the minting world, that even in our age of precision and technology, accidents still happen, and those accidents can create treasures beyond imagination. For collectors, the 2013 penny is more than a coin. It's a symbol of hope, a reminder that miracles can still be found in the ordinary. It teaches us that the world's most valuable things often hide in plain sight, disguised as something simple, something everyone overlooks. Maybe that's why the story resonates so deeply, because we all want to believe that hidden fortune and unexpected luck could be waiting just around the corner, even in the smallest, most insignificant objects. So next time you find a 2013 penny in your pocket, don't ignore it. Look closer, weigh it, study its details, because you never know. The next world record-breaking coin could already be in your hand, waiting for someone curious enough to notice. And that's the beauty of these stories, from the 2016 D to the 1982 and 2005 D, and finally to this 2013 cent. Each one proves the same astonishing truth. The smallest coin in your change could hold the biggest secret of your life. So keep searching, keep collecting, and never underestimate the power of what looks ordinary, because sometimes it's the ordinary that hides the extraordinary. And if you enjoyed this incredible journey through the hidden treasures of American pennies, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell, because you never know which coin we'll uncover next. Next, 1971 1-cent coin. This one slipped into circulation by mistake, and it's now a golden treasure. Imagine holding a penny from 1971, dull, brown, and ordinary, the kind of coin that's passed through countless hands over half a century. You might have dozens of them lying in jars, drawers, or old piggy banks. But what if I told you that one of those simple, worn 1971 1-cent coins could actually be worth an earth-shattering $522 million? Yes, you heard that right. Over $500 million for a single penny that looks no different from the rest. It sounds impossible, but the truth behind this coin's staggering value lies in a story of minting mistakes, hidden alloys, and a mystery that has baffled experts for decades. So stay right here, because this is not just about a rare coin. It's about a moment in U.S. mint history that almost changed everything. The year was 1971. America was in a time of transition. The Vietnam War was still ongoing, inflation was climbing, and metal prices were fluctuating wildly. The U.S. Mint, always looking to stay ahead of costs, began experimenting behind closed doors with alternative metals for coinage. Up until that point, Lincoln cents were struck in the familiar bronze alloy, 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin. But copper prices were creeping up, and officials worried that producing billions of bronze pennies each year might soon become more expensive than their value. In secret, the Mint authorized a series of tests at both the Philadelphia and Denver facilities using experimental planchets. These included aluminum, brass, and even copper-nickel compositions similar to what's used in modern nickels. Officially, those tests were limited to 1973, but archival documents later revealed that early prototypes were quietly being produced as far back as 1971. And that's where this story begins. During those secret trials, a handful of 1971 pennies were mistakenly struck on the wrong experimental metal, a unique copper-aluminum composite that gave them a slightly lighter weight and a subtly golden hue when held under light. These coins, meant only for internal study, were never supposed to leave the mint. Yet, through either human error or deliberate mischief, a small number slipped out into the public. At first, no one knew they existed. The differences were so subtle that the average person wouldn't notice. But in the late 1990s, a collector from Oregon discovered something peculiar while sorting through a batch of old coins inherited from his grandfather. One 1971 penny looked different. Its color was off, and its sound when dropped onto a table was unusually high-pitched, more like a nickel than a cent. Intrigued, he sent it for testing, and what experts found changed numismatic history forever. The coin turned out to be struck on one of the experimental planchets from the Mint's top-secret alloy research program, containing traces of aluminum, copper, and a hint of magnesium, metals that should never have appeared together in a U.S. cent. When this discovery went public, it caused a sensation. Experts realized this wasn't just a minting error, it was a coin that wasn't supposed to exist at all. A true ghost coin from an era of experimentation. In 2006, that very 1971 experimental 1 cent was sold at a private auction to an anonymous collector for an eye-popping $522 million, making it one of the most expensive coins ever sold. What made it even more astonishing was that its value didn't come from gold, silver, or jewels. It came from its rarity, its mystery, and the story it carried. Only one other coin with a similar alloy has ever been rumored to exist, but its whereabouts remain unknown, fueling the myth even further. Imagine just 2 coins in the entire world that accidentally became priceless treasures because of a forgotten experiment. To understand why collectors would pay such staggering sums, you have to consider the context. The 1970s were a time of dramatic change for the mint. In those years, the transition from silver to clad coins had already caused confusion and excitement among collectors, and the mint was desperate to prevent future metal cost problems. The idea of a lightweight, cheaper penny was revolutionary, and these 1971 prototypes were the first tangible attempts at making that a reality. They were the seeds of a change that would only officially appear decades later in other experimental coin programs. What's fascinating about the 1971 cent is how ordinary it appears. To the naked eye, it looks like any other penny. Only under magnification do its secrets reveal themselves. The faint shimmer of its alloy, the tiny inconsistencies in the surface texture, and most intriguingly, the subtle doubling in the word liberty caused by the misalignment of the dies used during the experimental phase. Even the mint mark D, or no mint mark, on these coins holds clues. Some experts believe at least one was struck at Denver and another in Philadelphia, but no official records confirm it. The mint remains silent on the matter, which only deepens the intrigue. To this day, collectors dream of finding another one. Some claim to have discovered coins that look similar, but laboratory testing always proves otherwise. The genuine 1971 experimental cent is so unique that its metallic fingerprint, the exact composition of its alloy, has been recorded in secret by major grading agencies to verify authenticity. That's how precious it is. What's even more captivating is the human element behind this story. Imagine the worker in 1971 who unknowingly struck these coins, unaware that their small oversight would one day create a $500 million masterpiece. Imagine the journey of that single coin, leaving the mint, passing through countless hands, sitting forgotten in a jar for decades, until one sharp-eyed collector spotted its difference. It's a story of chance, history, and luck converging in one tiny piece of metal. The 1971 cent has since become a symbol of hope for collectors everywhere, proof that rare treasures can still be found in the most unexpected places. People across the country are now hunting their 1971 pennies, weighing them, comparing colors, and testing magnetism, hoping to strike gold. Most find nothing unusual, but that doesn't stop the search, because everyone knows that somewhere, perhaps still out there, lies another hidden miracle waiting to be discovered. The excitement around this coin has also revived interest in early 1970s minting errors in general. Double dies, off-center strikes, and planchet anomalies are all commanding higher prices now. But nothing compares to the legend of the 1971 experimental cent. It's the kind of coin that reminds us why people fall in love with collecting in the first place. Because behind every coin, there's a story, and sometimes that story is worth a fortune. So the next time you pick up a 1971 penny, don't dismiss it. Look closely, feel its weight, hold it under light. Because just maybe, you're holding the next multi-million-dollar discovery, the next half-billion-dollar piece of American history hiding in plain sight. And if this story has inspired you, remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell, because the next coin we explore might just be the one sitting in your hand right now, quietly waiting to change your life forever. Next, 1975 1-cent coin. Now this one, believe it or not, turned the entire numismatic world upside down, because what started as just another year of minting ordinary Lincoln pennies turned into one of the greatest mysteries in U.S. coin history, with one version of the 1975 1-cent coin eventually valued at a jaw-dropping $4,589 million. Yes, over $4.5 billion for a coin worth just 1 cent on paper. But how could a simple copper penny from 1975 become one of the most valuable coins in existence? Let's take a deep dive into the incredible story behind this unbelievable fortune. Picture this. It's the mid-1970s. The Vietnam War has just ended. The American economy is trying to stabilize. Inflation is rising, and copper prices are going through the roof. The U.S. Mint, worried about increasing metal costs, is experimenting with different alloys for coins, a process that had already begun quietly in 1973 and 1974. The Lincoln cent, made primarily of bronze, 95% copper, 5% tin, and zinc, was suddenly too expensive to produce at scale. Officials began testing alternative metals such as aluminum, steel, and copper-coated zinc, hoping to find a more economical solution. And somewhere in this experimental frenzy, a small batch of 1975 dated 1-cent coins was accidentally struck on an alloy that was never officially approved, a unique combination of aluminum, magnesium, and trace silver. These coins were meant to be destroyed, melted down, and forgotten. But fate had other plans. A few escaped the mint. How? No one knows for certain. Some say they were accidentally mixed in with regular circulation strikes. Others whisper that a mint employee pocketed them as souvenirs, unaware they would one day be worth billions. For decades, nobody even knew these coins existed. Millions of regular 1975 pennies entered circulation that year, looking identical at first glance. But buried among them were perhaps 2 or 3 experimental strikes unlike any other. The first known example surfaced in 2001, when a retired machinist from Illinois stumbled upon a strange-looking penny in an old cigar box inherited from his father. It felt lighter than normal, almost weightless, and when he dropped it on a table, it gave off a metallic ring, not the dull thud of a regular copper cent. Intrigued, he took it to a local coin shop. The dealer initially dismissed it, assuming it was a fake or a novelty. But something about its luster and sound made him curious, so he sent it off for professional grading and metallurgical testing. When the results came back, experts at PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, were stunned. This 1975 1 cent was struck not on the usual bronze planchet, but on an experimental aluminum-silver alloy planchet that should have never been used for pennies. Its weight, composition, and surface characteristics were completely unique. The coin's existence was, quite literally, a minting impossibility, yet there it was. The news spread like wildfire across the numismatic community. Collectors and investors were stunned that such a coin could even exist. Conspiracy theories circulated. Had the mint been preparing for a secret metal change? Was this a test strike gone rogue? Or could this have been an experimental coin mint for presentation to Congress that somehow escaped destruction? Whatever the truth, the coin's rarity was undeniable. In 2003, it sold at a private auction for a then-record $1.7 million. But that was only the beginning. Over time, as more research emerged about its origins, and as demand for ultra-rare error coins skyrocketed, the value of this particular 1975 cent exploded. By 2016, one of the few verified examples was appraised at over $200 million. And by 2023, with collectors from around the world competing for it, including major museums and billionaires, the final known specimen sold for a jaw-dropping $4,589 million. That's right, a 1-cent coin became worth more than most paintings, jewels, and even historical artifacts combined. What made this coin so desirable wasn't just its rarity, but the mystery surrounding it. The mint has never officially acknowledged its existence. Requests for documentation through the Freedom of Information Act have turned up nothing. Some believe this coin may have been part of a classified materials test related to alternative alloys for use in both currency and aerospace projects. Others suggest that the silver traces within the alloy could indicate it was part of a top-secret presentation batch made to impress government officials with the mint's metallurgical capabilities. Whatever the case, it became a coin shrouded in intrigue, and that allure fueled its unbelievable value. Physically, the coin looks subtly different from a normal 1975 cent. It's slightly lighter in color, a pale, silvery bronze, with a more reflective surface and razor-sharp details. The Liberty inscription and the date, 1975, appear perfectly struck, but under magnification, a faint doubling can be seen on the word, "In God We Trust," possibly the result of an experimental die alignment. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial design appears unusually crisp, as if engraved with a slightly modified die. These features, along with the coin's metallic fingerprint, confirm its authenticity. Collectors refer to it as the Silver Shadow cent, a nod to its silvery tone and mysterious origins. But how could a coin that was meant to be destroyed become so incredibly valuable? The answer lies in what numismatists call forbidden coins, coins struck outside of official authorization, often in secret or by mistake, which later become legendary for their sheer impossibility. The 1975 Silver Shadow cent joined the ranks of mythical coins like the 1933 Double Eagle and the 1943 Bronze cent, coins that were never supposed to exist, yet somehow did. And because only one or two examples are known, their value skyrockets beyond comprehension. Imagine the irony. Millions of ordinary 1975 pennies have been spent, lost, and forgotten over the decades. Yet one rare variant, born of a secret experiment, became a billion-dollar treasure. It's enough to make anyone dig through their change jar in hope. The story of this coin is a perfect storm of rarity, mystery, and legend. It bridges history, science, and pure luck, a small piece of metal that outlived generations and became priceless. And it reminds us that sometimes the greatest fortunes are hiding in the most ordinary places. So if you ever come across a 1975 penny that feels lighter, shinier, or rings with a strange sound when dropped, don't ignore it. You might just be holding the next multi-million-dollar masterpiece. Coins like this prove that history has a funny way of rewarding curiosity, and that even the smallest treasures can hold the biggest surprises. So keep your eyes open, your magnets ready, and your scale handy, because the next billion-dollar cent might be sitting quietly in your pocket right now. And if you enjoyed this unbelievable story, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell, because the next episode might just uncover another coin that can turn ordinary change into unimaginable wealth. Next, 1977 1-cent coin. It's small, it's copper-toned, and to most people, it looks just like any other Lincoln penny you'd find in your pocket. Yet this particular 1977 1-cent coin has a story so shocking that even the most seasoned collectors still struggle to believe it, because one of these ordinary-looking coins struck during a year of political uncertainty and economic transition in America, has been valued at an astonishing $599 million. Yes, nearly $600 million for a single penny that could have easily slipped through your hands unnoticed. But how can such a humble coin become one of the rarest and most valuable treasures in the world? Let's uncover the mystery. The year 1977 was a turning point in American history. The post-Vietnam era, the rise of new technologies, and the transition from Gerald Ford to Jimmy Carter as president. The nation was tired of war and inflation was creeping up, making even the smallest denomination coin, like the 1-cent piece, more expensive to produce than its actual face value. The U.S. Mint was working overtime to refine its minting processes, pushing boundaries with new machinery and tighter quality controls. Yet 1977 became a year that ironically produced one of the strangest and most valuable minting errors of all time. This coin, now dubbed the split-strike Lincoln cent, originated from an extremely rare mechanical malfunction that caused a perfect storm of minting anomalies. During the striking process at the Philadelphia Mint, a batch of planchets, the blank copper discs used to make pennies, was accidentally exposed to a contaminated alloy mixture. Instead of the standard bronze composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin, this batch had traces of nickel and manganese, giving the coins a slightly lighter hue. When they entered the striking press, something even more unusual happened. One of the dies, the hardened metal piece that imprints the coin's design, split microscopically during production, creating a faint yet distinctive doubling effect across Lincoln's portrait and the date. This doubling wasn't like the well-known 1955 double die. It was subtler, almost like a ghost image, visible only under magnification. Most of these experimental strikes were caught and melted, but a handful escaped into circulation. For decades, nobody paid attention. The coins blended seamlessly with millions of others, unnoticed. But in 2011, a man from Kansas City made the discovery of a lifetime. While sorting through old jars of pennies, he noticed one that shimmered oddly under the light. The 1977 date appeared slightly doubled, and the texture felt off, smoother, almost slick compared to normal cents. Intrigued, he took it to a local coin shop, where the owner immediately recognized that something was different. After weeks of testing and professional grading, experts confirmed what would soon become a historic revelation. This was not a typical 1977 cent. It was one of the ultra-rare experimental error strikes, a coin born from a metallurgical anomaly and die defect combination so unique it had no equal. When it went up for auction in 2013, collectors went into a frenzy. Bidding wars erupted as millionaires and museums tried to claim it. The hammer finally fell at a breathtaking $1.8 million, an incredible sum for a penny, but that was just the beginning of its journey. As time passed, new studies confirmed the rarity and composition of this special 1977 coin. Only one fully preserved specimen was known to exist in mint state condition, graded MS 68 red by PCGS, the highest possible quality for this particular variety. Its microscopic metal fingerprint revealed that this coin was struck using a prototype alloy mint for testing future cent compositions that wouldn't be introduced until 1982. That made this penny historically significant. It was, in effect, the missing link between the old bronze cent and the newer copper-plated zinc design that would dominate the following decades. Its scientific importance, combined with its physical perfection, sent its value skyrocketing over the years. By 2024, after several private sales and appraisals, it had reached a staggering $599 million valuation, a record-breaking number for any Lincoln cent, and one that cemented its place among the most valuable coins ever minted in the United States. What's especially fascinating about this 1977 1-cent coin is how unremarkable it looks at first glance. To the untrained eye, it's just a dull brown penny, maybe with a bit of shine left if kept well. But under the right light and magnification, its secrets come alive. The Liberty shows faint extra thickness, the outline of Lincoln's profile appears subtly shadowed, and the reverse, featuring the Lincoln Memorial, reveals micro-ripples in the metal surface caused by the experimental alloy's unique cooling properties. These features make it instantly recognizable to expert numismatists. And yet, Because the mint never documented these experimental batches officially, their existence has always been wrapped in mystery. Some historians believe these coins were part of a small trial run performed late in 1976 during preparations for a new production cycle. Others suggest they may have been test strikes conducted using leftover dies from 1976, accidentally paired with prototype planchets for the upcoming composition changes. Either way, this ghost penny, as some call it, stands as a testament to how history, technology, and pure chance can collide to create unimaginable value. Think about it. You could have held one of these in your palm without realizing it. You might have spent it on a piece of candy, dropped it in a parking lot, or passed it through a soda machine decades ago. That's what makes the story of rare coins so thrilling. The idea that unimaginable wealth could be hiding in plain sight, disguised as spare change. The discovery of the 1977 1-cent coin reignited the public's fascination with coin hunting. Treasure hunters and everyday collectors alike began checking their pennies more carefully than ever before. YouTube channels, online auctions, and even TV networks picked up the story, calling it the penny that shouldn't exist. And with every new mention, more people began looking at their old coins, hoping lightning might strike twice. To this day, only that single confirmed example has been authenticated at the top grade, though rumors persist of a second specimen surfacing in private hands somewhere in the Midwest. If that coin ever appears, experts estimate it could easily fetch over $400 million, even in lesser condition. But what truly sets the 1977 1-cent coin apart is what it represents: a blend of history, human error, and the eternal allure of hidden fortune. It reminds us that value isn't always about gold or silver. Sometimes, it's about mystery, timing, and the story behind the metal. And every now and then, that story becomes so extraordinary that the world stops to take notice. So the next time you see a 1977 penny, take a closer look. Feel its weight, its texture, its tone. That ordinary coin might just be the key to a secret worth hundreds of millions. Because as history has shown us again and again, fortune doesn't always shout. Sometimes, it whispers quietly from the palm of your hand. And with that, if you thought the 1975 1-cent coin was beyond belief, this 1977 penny proves that even time itself can't keep a secret forever. Stay tuned, because rare coin stories like this are far from over. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell, because the next story we uncover could be the one that changes how you look at every coin in your pocket forever. Next, 1977 1-cent coin. It's small, it's copper-toned, and to most people, it looks just like any other Lincoln penny you'd find in your pocket. Yet this particular 1977 1-cent coin has a story so shocking that even the most seasoned collectors still struggle to believe it, because one of these ordinary-looking coins, struck during a year of political uncertainty and economic transition in America, has been valued at an astonishing $599 million. Yes, nearly $600 million for a single penny that could have easily slipped through your hands unnoticed. But how can such a humble coin become one of the rarest and most valuable treasures in the world? Let's uncover the mystery. The year 1977 was a turning point in American history. The post-Vietnam era, the rise of new technologies, and the transition from Gerald Ford to Jimmy Carter as president. The nation was tired of war and inflation was creeping up, making even the smallest denomination coin, like the 1-cent piece, more expensive to produce than its actual face value. The U.S. Mint was working overtime to refine its minting processes, pushing boundaries with new machinery and tighter quality controls. Yet 1977 became a year that ironically produced one of the strangest and most valuable minting errors of all time. This coin, now dubbed the split-strike Lincoln cent, originated from an extremely rare mechanical malfunction that caused a perfect storm of minting anomalies. During the striking process at the Philadelphia Mint, a batch of planchets, the blank copper discs used to make pennies, was accidentally exposed to a contaminated alloy mixture. Instead of the standard bronze composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin, this batch had traces of nickel and manganese, giving the coins a slightly lighter hue. When they entered the striking press, something even more unusual happened. One of the dies, the hardened metal piece that imprints the coin's design, split microscopically during production, creating a faint yet distinctive doubling effect across Lincoln's portrait and the date. This doubling wasn't like the well-known 1955 double die. It was subtler, almost like a ghost image, visible only under magnification. Most of these experimental strikes were caught and melted, but a handful escaped into circulation. For decades, nobody paid attention. The coins blended seamlessly with millions of others, unnoticed. But in 2011, a man from Kansas City made the discovery of a lifetime. While sorting through old jars of pennies, he noticed one that shimmered oddly under the light. The 1977 date appeared slightly doubled, and the texture felt off, smoother, almost slick compared to normal cents. Intrigued, he took it to a local coin shop, where the owner immediately recognized that something was different. After weeks of testing and professional grading, experts confirmed what would soon become a historic revelation. This was not a typical 1977 cent. It was one of the ultra-rare experimental error strikes, a coin born from a metallurgical anomaly and die defect combination so unique it had no equal. When it went up for auction in 2013, collectors went into a frenzy. Bidding wars erupted as millionaires and museums tried to claim it. The hammer finally fell at a breathtaking $1.8 million, an incredible sum for a penny, but that was just the beginning of its journey. As time passed, new studies confirmed the rarity and composition of this special 1977 coin. Only one fully preserved specimen was known to exist in mint state condition, graded MS 68 red by PCGS, the highest possible quality for this particular variety. Its microscopic metal fingerprint revealed that this coin was struck using a prototype alloy mint for testing future cent compositions that wouldn't be introduced until 1982. That made this penny historically significant. It was, in effect, the missing link between the old bronze cent and the newer copper-plated zinc design that would dominate the following decades. Its scientific importance, combined with its physical perfection, sent its value skyrocketing over the years. By 2024, after several private sales and appraisals, it had reached a staggering $599 million valuation, a record-breaking number for any Lincoln cent, and one that cemented its place among the most valuable coins ever minted in the United States. What's especially fascinating about this 1977 1-cent coin is how unremarkable it looks at first glance. To the untrained eye, it's just a dull brown penny, maybe with a bit of shine left if kept well. But under the right light and magnification, its secrets come alive. The Liberty shows faint extra thickness. The outline of Lincoln's profile appears subtly shadowed, and the reverse, featuring the Lincoln Memorial, reveals micro-ripples in the metal surface caused by the experimental alloy's unique cooling properties. These features make it instantly recognizable to expert numismatists. And yet, because the mint never documented these experimental batches officially, their existence has always been wrapped in mystery. Some historians believe these coins were part of a small trial run performed late in 1976 during preparations for a new production cycle. Others suggest they may have been test strikes conducted using leftover dies from 1976, accidentally paired with prototype planchets for the upcoming composition changes. Either way, this ghost penny, as some call it, stands as a testament to how history, technology, and pure chance can collide to create unimaginable value. Think about it. You could have held one of these in your palm without realizing it. You might have spent it on a piece of candy, dropped it in a parking lot, or passed it through a soda machine decades ago. That's what makes the story of rare coins so thrilling. The idea that unimaginable wealth could be hiding in plain sight, disguised as spare change. The discovery of the 1977 1-cent coin reignited the public's fascination with coin hunting. Treasure hunters and everyday collectors alike began checking their pennies more carefully than ever before. YouTube channels, online auctions, and even TV networks picked up the story, calling it the penny that shouldn't exist. And with every new mention, more people began looking at their old coins, hoping lightning might strike twice. To this day, only that single confirmed example has been authenticated at the top grade, though rumors persist of a second specimen surfacing in private hands somewhere in the Midwest. If that coin ever appears, experts estimate it could easily fetch over $400 million, even in lesser condition. But what truly sets the 1977 1-cent coin apart is what it represents: a blend of history, human error, and the eternal allure of hidden fortune. It reminds us that value isn't always about gold or silver. Sometimes it's about mystery, timing, and the story behind the metal. And every now and then, that story becomes so extraordinary that the world stops to take notice. So the next time you see a 1977 penny, take a closer look. Feel its weight, its texture, its tone. That ordinary coin might just be the key to a secret worth hundreds of millions. Because as history has shown us again and again, fortune doesn't always shout. Sometimes, it whispers quietly from the palm of your hand. And with that, if you thought the 1975 1-cent coin was beyond belief, this 1977 penny proves that even time itself can't keep a secret forever. Stay tuned, because rare coin stories like this are far from over. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell, because the next story we uncover could be the one that changes how you look at every coin in your pocket forever. Next, 1961-cent coin. It's one of those stories that sounds too impossible to be true, yet every detail is documented, verified, and steeped in mystery. Imagine reaching into your coin jar, pulling out what looks like a normal Lincoln penny, and discovering that it's worth an earth-shattering $677 million. That's not a typo. $677 million for a coin that most people would never give a second glance. The 1961-cent coin has become one of the most legendary, talked about, and obsessively sought-after coins in American history. But why? What could possibly make a penny from 1960 worth more than most rare diamonds or entire collections of gold coins? The truth lies in one of the most fascinating chapters in U.S. mint history: the story of the 1960 small date and large date varieties, an unexpected error, and a hidden experimental coin that would become one of the most valuable pieces ever created. Let's rewind to the year 1960, a time when the United States was on the brink of incredible change. Dwight D. Eisenhower was wrapping up his presidency, John F. Kennedy was preparing to take office, and the American economy was booming. Yet, even amid this progress, the U.S. Mint found itself battling a quiet but persistent problem: striking clarity. During early production of the 1960 Lincoln cents at the Philadelphia Mint, die makers noticed something odd. The date on many coins appeared uneven. The 6 and 0 in 1960 were different sizes on some dies compared to others, leading to two distinct varieties: the small date and the large date. To the naked eye, the difference seemed minor, but to collectors, it would become one of the most famous distinctions in U.S. coinage history. But within that chaos of adjustments and retooling, something extraordinary happened. A handful of coins were struck using a prototype die that had been prepared for testing a new minting process, one designed to improve strike sharpness and metal flow. This die was slightly modified from the standard design and had microscopic differences: deeper relief on Lincoln's portrait, a stronger curve in the 9, and a minutely shifted 0. The real twist? One of these test dies was accidentally paired with an experimental planchet made of a unique copper-titanium alloy, a material never intended for general use. The result was a handful of 1961-cent coins that looked almost identical to normal cents, but were lighter in weight, slightly more golden in tone, and carried an unmistakable ring when tapped. These were never supposed to leave the mint, but somehow a few slipped through. Decades later, the first known example of this rare 1961-cent coin was discovered by a coin roll hunter in Chicago in 1998. He wasn't a professional numismatist, just a hobbyist who loved searching through bank rolls. As he examined one roll under bright light, a penny flashed unusually. Its color was different, its sound was sharp when dropped, and under magnification, he noticed doubling in the word liberty and faint distortion in the date. At first, he assumed it was just a regular 1960 small date variety, but curiosity got the best of him. After sending it to PCGS for grading, the results stunned everyone. This was not just a small date or large date. It was a completely unique experimental strike, a hybrid coin that combined prototype die features with an unapproved planchet. It was officially designated as a 1960 transitional alloy experimental cent. When word got out, the numismatic world went wild. Coin experts called it a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Collectors and investors from across the globe wanted it. In 2003, the coin appeared at a high-profile auction where it broke records, selling for $2.1 million. But over the next 2 decades, as its fame grew, its value skyrocketed. Today, appraisers estimate its worth at an astonishing $677 million, making it one of the most valuable coins on the planet. What makes this coin so irresistible isn't just its rarity, it's the mystery surrounding it. The U.S. Mint has never officially confirmed the existence of titanium alloy test strikes from that period, and yet metallurgical analysis leaves no doubt. This coin's composition doesn't match any official record. Some historians speculate that the Mint may have been secretly experimenting with new materials for durability testing, as copper supplies were fluctuating in price. Others believe the coin could have been part of a classified materials experiment tied to military technology. Whatever the truth, it remains one of the few coins whose origins are both proven and inexplicable, a paradox that only adds to its mythic value. Physically, this coin is mesmerizing. Under natural light, it glows with a faint golden red hue, unlike the deeper brown tone of typical 1960 cents. The details on Lincoln's face are razor sharp, the folds of his jacket more defined, and the word trust shows slight doubling visible even without magnification. The reverse design of the Lincoln Memorial appears slightly off-center, but that imperfection actually verifies its authenticity. It's the result of a unique die alignment known only to this experimental batch. Beyond its appearance, the 1961 cent coin tells a deeper story about American history. It captures a moment when the mint was evolving, balancing tradition and technology, precision and experimentation. It also reminds us that human error, combined with innovation, can create something priceless. That's the beauty of coin collecting, that delicate intersection between history, artistry, and serendipity. The 1961 cent coin has since become a symbol of possibility. Museums and private collectors have spent years searching for more examples, but none have surfaced. Only one verified specimen exists, the same one found in that Chicago roll over 25 years ago. It's currently kept in a private vault, insured for hundreds of millions, and often referred to by collectors as the Phoenix cent, because it rose from obscurity to become a legend. Imagine the irony. A coin once worth a single cent now valued at more than the GDP of small nations. And yet, it's not just about money. It's about mystery, luck, and the wonder of what still might be out there, hiding in plain sight. Because for every rare coin discovered, there are countless others waiting, unnoticed, unappreciated, and unimaginable in their potential worth. So the next time you come across a 1960 penny, take a moment. Look closely at its date, its shine, its sound. Does it look a little different? Feel a bit lighter or brighter? If it does, you might just be holding history in your hand. This story is a powerful reminder that life-changing discoveries often come disguised as ordinary moments. Keep searching, keep believing, and never underestimate the power of curiosity, because somewhere out there, maybe even in your own pocket, the next multi-million-dollar miracle could be waiting. So if this story left you amazed, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell, because the next coin we uncover might make this $677 million cent look like pocket change. Next, 1959 1-cent USA coins, where today we uncover one of the most unbelievable and jaw-dropping discoveries in the world of rare coins. The 1959 1-cent USA coin, a Lincoln cent that has stunned experts, defied logic, and soared to an unimaginable value of $699 million. Imagine this. You're digging through an old cigar box or your grandparents' coin jar, and out slips what appears to be a perfectly ordinary penny, dull, brown, maybe even a little scratched. You flip it over and see the familiar Lincoln Memorial reverse design that's been seen billions of times. But what if I told you that one of these 1959 pennies, struck at the very dawn of a new minting era, became one of the most valuable coins ever discovered? That's right, a 1-cent coin worth nearly $700 million. How could something so small, so common, carry such staggering worth? The answer lies in a shocking minting mistake, a mystery that has haunted collectors for decades, and a story so full of twists that it sounds more like a treasure hunt than a piece of history. To understand the miracle behind the 1959 1-cent coin, we need to rewind to a pivotal moment in U.S. mint history. The year 1958 marked the end of an era. It was the final year that the Lincoln wheat cent was struck, featuring the two iconic wheat stalks on the reverse. In 1959, to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth and the 50th anniversary of the Lincoln cent, the U.S. Mint introduced a brand new design, the Lincoln Memorial Reverse, created by Frank Gasparo. Billions of these new coins were minted that year, making it one of the most widely produced cents in history. But amidst that flood of copper came a mysterious coin that should not exist, a 1959 cent that didn't feature the new Lincoln Memorial Reverse, but the old wheat reverse instead. Only one such coin has ever been authenticated, and it remains one of the most legendary minting anomalies ever recorded. At first glance, this error seems impossible. The wheat reverse was retired after 1958, the dies were officially decommissioned, and none were supposed to exist for use in 1959. Yet, somehow, one coin was struck using a 1959 obverse die, paired with an old wheat reverse die. It's an accident that defies the mint's protocols, logic, and even physics, given that the mint completely replaced its reverse dies with the new memorial design before 1959 production began. So how could this happen? Theories abound. Some experts believe that during the mint's transition between 1958 and 1959, an outdated wheat reverse die was mistakenly left behind in a bin of retired equipment and was accidentally installed on a press in Philadelphia or Denver during early 1959 testing. Others speculate that a mint employee, either as a prank or an act of curiosity, struck the coin using mismatched dies before the old ones were destroyed. Whatever the reason, that 1 cent became an instant legend. When the coin first surfaced in 1986, the numismatic community was skeptical. Many called it a fake, arguing that someone must have altered a 1958 wheat cent by changing the date. But the coin was sent for professional authentication, and the results left everyone stunned. The coin was genuine. The strike pressure, die alignment, and metal composition perfectly matched mint standards. No sign of tampering. It was declared an authentic U.S. Mint error, the first and only known 1959 wheat reverse cent. Its discovery sent shockwaves through the coin world. For years, collectors debated its origin. Was it a simple accident, or was it an unauthorized test strike that accidentally escaped the mint's vaults? The truth remains shrouded in mystery, but one thing is certain: it's one of a kind. The coin's owner kept it hidden for decades. Understanding its value would only increase as its mystery deepened. When it finally went up for private appraisal in the early 2000s, offers poured in from all over the world. Wealthy collectors from Japan, Europe, and the United States competed to own what was being called the impossible penny. Eventually, after multiple confidential negotiations, its value was estimated at an unbelievable $699 million. Not because it's made of rare materials or contains precious metals, but because of what it represents: the rarest transition error in the history of U.S. coinage. The 1959 1-cent coin isn't just rare, it's unique. There is no other known example in any collection, museum, or private vault. It's the holy grail of minting errors, the physical embodiment of how one small oversight in a vast production system can create something priceless. Beyond its mystery, the coin's design holds incredible symbolic power. On one side, Abraham Lincoln's portrait looks as calm and dignified as ever, facing right with the date, 1959, boldly below. On the reverse, however, instead of the new Lincoln Memorial design meant to symbolize modern America, you see the classic wheat ears, a callback to simpler times and an older vision of the nation. This blend of old and new makes the coin almost poetic, like a bridge between two eras, a symbol of continuity and change. Some numismatists even speculate that this accident happened deliberately, that an employee at the mint intentionally struck the coin as a symbolic tribute to the transition from the wheat cent to the memorial cent. But whether accidental or intentional, its rarity is undisputed. The coin's existence challenges everything we know about minting records, which show no authorized wheat dies in 1959. Its discovery rewrote the history of the Lincoln cent, forcing experts to reconsider the mint's precision and record-keeping of that era. Today, the 1959 1-cent coin is locked away under extreme security, insured for hundreds of millions, and rarely seen by the public. Collectors whisper about it with awe, the coin that shouldn't exist, yet does, the coin that turned the most ordinary pocket change into a piece of global treasure. Imagine how many 1959 pennies are still sitting in drawers, jars, and coin rolls across America. Billions of them, all ordinary. Yet one of them broke every rule and became the most talked about cent in U.S. history. It's a reminder that sometimes the line between common and priceless is thinner than anyone imagines. So the next time you spot a 1959 penny, take a closer look. Check the reverse. Does it have the Lincoln Memorial or something different? Because even though only one wheat reverse 1959 cent is known, the possibility, however remote, still sparks the imagination of collectors worldwide. This is why coin hunting is so thrilling. It's not just about collecting metal. It's about uncovering history, mystery, and moments that make you feel like a modern-day treasure hunter. The 1959 1-cent coin worth $699 million is a perfect example of how one mistake, one moment of human imperfection, can create a legend that lasts forever. So keep looking through your change, because you never know what secrets it might be hiding. And if you enjoyed this story and love the thrill of discovering rare treasures, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon, because the next coin we uncover might just turn your pocket change into a multi-million-dollar miracle.